So I definitely grew up in the church. I was very much a church kid from the second I was born to pretty much my entire childhood. I was going to church, going to youth group, went to a small Christian private school, very much steeped in all things Jesus, to the point that I feel like it kind of desensitized me to anything faith related. But yeah, it was very much the performative actions of being a Christian my entire life. It was just who I was. It was what my family did. It was everything about my identity was somehow related to Christ. When I was still in high school, I met the guy who would become my husband. We started dating when we were 16 and were together pretty much from the first moment that we met. When I was still a teenager, when I was 19, when we were still dating, I got myself into some unsafe situations, and under the influence of alcohol and a much older guy, I ended up cheating on the guy who would become my husband with a guy who was 10 years older than myself. It was a really predatory situation, but still one that I put myself into willingly, knowing what could happen. And that kind of started a very intense separation from God. I hid it from him from the time we got married until about 2 years into our marriage. We, once I graduated college, ended up spontaneously selling our condo and moving to Guatemala for 3 months. And while I was in Guatemala, I knew that I needed to be right with God, and I knew that I needed to tell the truth and come clean in order to reconcile myself with God. But the situation I had created for myself, I wasn't willing to let go of. I wasn't willing to put myself in the vulnerable position of telling the truth. I wasn't willing to risk what might happen if I told the truth. And I just more and more felt God just ever so gently pulling on my heart, telling me, you know what you need to do. I am asking you to do this, and I'm asking you to trust me. And I think it was about a month and a half into being in Guatemala during a fight. My husband, as he had many times before, had said something along the lines of, I know there's something you're not telling me. You need to tell me. And I came clean. I told him everything. And he chose to stay. He chose to forgive me and to work on our marriage. I was more or less surprised with divorce papers in very early October. I had a baby in May. And after a particularly nasty fight, I didn't feel safe. I told my husband this, and I took my son with me and went to my parents' house to get some space. I said, I don't feel safe. I will be back probably in a couple of hours. I might be gone overnight, but we need some space. We need to kind of cool down a little bit. October 7th, I received divorce papers. How God really showed up first in that situation is I was never intending to leave. I have a Bible study of just absolutely incredible women who I had been kind of telling about what was going on with this fight, and they told me, Rachel, you need to leave. This is not safe. And so first and foremost, I never would have made the decision to leave and get space, even temporarily. And from then on, it's just been this intense snowball of support and just God providing for me in every single way imaginable. But probably one of the biggest pieces was getting involved in Miles City. My dear friend Sam actually texted me and was like, hey, do you want to come to Miles City tomorrow with me? And I was like, okay, God, this seems like a prompting to me. So I said, yeah, absolutely. I ended up being a little bit late, so I came in probably during the second song, and the lyrics of the very first song I heard when I walked in the doors was, the Father is welcoming, this is our homecoming. And that just, I broke down in tears. It was like God was literally telling me, hey, this is gonna be your home for a while. I should be broken right now. There is no reason that I shouldn't be just completely obliterated by all of this. The only reason I'm not is because of God. The only reason I'm able to wake up and care for my baby and build a business I never thought I would have to have. There's no reason any of this should be going in the direction it has been. The only explanation is God. I truly don't think I would have survived this process if it wasn't for God truly carrying me through every step of the way. My name is Rachel Gritt, and I'm getting baptized because I want God's abundant life over the shell of a life I'd created for myself.